Weather Scope.
We're still watching some nasty weather in Florida tonight after a very active day. Good evening, I'm Christina Abernathy.
And I'm Sharon Zalton. It is a bitterly cold night in the meantime in the northern plains. And if you live in the northeast, it looks as though your Sunday probably going to be a fairly gray day. We're going to have details on that in just a moment. But we'll start out with the thunderstorms in Florida and show you results of some of those storms that occurred earlier today. These South Florida residents are assessing the damage from the afternoon's thunderstorms. High winds ripped through the Deerfield Beach area this afternoon, causing damage to trees and even some homes in the area. There's a look there at some of the severe reports that we've had, and we've had a lot of hail and a lot of wind with these thunderstorms. One confirmed tornado. It's kind of interesting to note that we actually across southern Florida saw very scattered thunderstorms popping up. There was enough jet stream energy though to produce one tornado with one of those storms. But the main thrust of the action has been right here into central Florida. That's been the area where we've seen most of the activity, and we continue to see it along that same region because of our stationary front. Much of the peninsula of Florida, though, could see some severe weather this evening. We continue to watch out for strong to severe thunderstorms from areas like around Daytona Beach, back down through Orlando and on into Tampa. That has been the area that has really seen the action yet this evening. And severe weather watches in effect, a tornado watch in red. The severe thunderstorm watch, fairly recent, does cover Lake Okeechobee and points on eastward, including into Martin County, where your severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for the next 10-12 minutes or so. Here's the stationary front that I spoke of. We're actually finding the thunderstorms developing out over the Gulf of Mexico and then moving along the front. So most of the activity is right along the front and just to the south of it. And we continue to see almost a training effect here as all that moisture moves off the Gulf of Mexico and pushes on into central Florida. Eventually that front is going to be sliding on southward, and so the focal point for the showers and the storms will move southward as we head into the overnight. Here's a peek at the thunderstorms again. Almost a squall line effect here as they've kind of linked up, joining forces in and around Hillsborough County. Still a nasty looking cell here. And we continue to watch in and around Orlando, extending all the way back out toward the east coastal areas of Florida, south of Daytona Beach now, as you head out toward Mosquito Lagoon. Watch out for frequent lightning and the possibility for some hail with these storms. Christina?
Well, there's a lot of green on the northeastern maps tonight, and we also have some snow and some very windy conditions occurring through the northern plains. So we take a look at what's going on there. We can see where that is, and there we go. Here's the big picture. We've got, again, the snow here through the northern plains. We've got some wet weather in the northwestern U.S., but we also see that in the northeast, too, and some foggy areas. That's what the yellow indicates on your maps here, so keep that in mind tonight or as you head out tomorrow morning. Some of the rain may be giving way to some drizzly, foggy conditions around New York City, for example. So give yourself a little extra time to get where you're going. Then to the west we go, and this is where the snow is falling and where the wind has been quite strong here through the Dakotas and on into Nebraska. We've got the snow that's falling, but we also have the wind blowing and drifting the snow and reduced visibilities, the possibility for blizzard conditions in parts of South Dakota, say in Black Hills. And again, maybe a good night just not to be out at all because of the reduced visibilities. And it's quite cold here, so the wind's making it feel even colder than the actual temperature might indicate. And with winds gusting 20, 30, 40 miles per hour, again, it's just a good night to stay indoors. We're dealing with precipitation here too, not as snow but as rain, and we've even had some thunderstorms mixed in too. Look out for soggy weather around Detroit, Cleveland, more rain headed your way. This is all sort of rotating around an area of low pressure. Charleston, you too will be getting in on some of the activity, and in the northeast things have begun to quiet down somewhat for New York City and Hartford as the rain lifting off to the north. Still dealing perhaps though with some drizzly conditions and with some fog here too. Manhattan back to Philadelphia. Buffalo still getting the rain as well. Into the northwest you too have a bit of soggy weather here. Portland and Seattle with snow for the Cascades, but around Portland over towards the Dalles it's going to be a soggy night for you, and northward along I-5, wet weather continuing here. Seattle, Tacoma, you too will expect soggy weather as we head through the overnight hours. So it's going to be rain for the lower elevations, snow for the higher elevations with temperatures in the mid-40s now. Much colder as we head to the Dakotas, and again with the wind, these temperatures not really reflecting what it actually feels like out there. Wind chill readings quite cold. Then to the south, not so cold right now in Texas, but it will be overnight. Not good news because you've had such mild conditions lately. A lot of things have begun to bloom. Freeze advisories in effect. Take the necessary steps to protect that tender vegetation. Sharon?
It is ocean and atmosphere working together that makes El Nino a force for climate change. Jim Cantore explains in tonight's El Nino Focus.
In normal non-El Nino years, the surface of the Pacific Ocean along the coast of South America is cool, about 8 degrees cooler than the surface in the western Pacific. That's because of the trade winds. The prevailing trade winds in this part of the world are from east to west, and those winds push the ocean's surface along with them. That piles warm water up in the western Pacific. Sea level is about 1.5 feet higher near Indonesia than at Ecuador. And because the